Welcome to another video tutorial. In this video, we're going to take a look at how to create your own home menu screen or main menu screen. So this is going to be a combination of showing how to set up the map as a background, and then how to set up your own interface so that you have your own options laid out exactly as you want. And we'll talk about how to script all of the buttons to do what you want them to do. Okay. So, first of all, to show you the map, I've set up this very small map, which is going to be specifically for the main menu. So this isn't necessarily the map you'll play, although it can be. It depends on how you want to set things up. Because this isn't the map that I'm going to play, I don't actually need any of the navigation. You would if you wanted NPCs to move around, but in this case, it's just for an image. So I'm going to get rid of all of the navigation. So once you've set up your map as you want it to look, you're then going to want to save a camera position. This is basically where the camera is going to look when it's at the main menu. So to do that, you just position the map editor camera using the map editor controls where you want it. So let's say we wanted it to look here. Then you press, where is it? This button here, Save Camera Position. When you click that, this dialog will come up asking you to give the camera position a name. So you'd give it a name and then you'd click OK. Now I've already got one, so I'm not going to fill that in or save one. So I made one earlier called Menu BG or Menu Background. So to find your camera positions, once you've saved them, they'll be listed in the map properties. And if you look for camera positions, here you go down here, you can see there's a drop-down list of all of the ones you've saved. So if you've saved multiple ones, which are useful for things like cutscenes, then they'll all be listed in this list here. But for a menu background, you only need one. So here is my one I made earlier, and you can click this button here, and it will move the camera to that position. So if I click that, this is the position I saved earlier, so I can view out of the camera to make sure that's how I want it to look when we're in game. You can delete camera positions by pressing the remove button, and then that will remove that camera position that you saved earlier, which obviously we don't want to do. So with that setup, let me also show you where the default main menu stuff is. If you go to UI editor and go to main menu, this is where the inbuilt main menu options are. Now there's only a handful of things you can do with customizing the inbuilt menu, which is why a lot of people want to sort of make their own, which is what this video is all about. But just to quickly, just for the sake of completeness, just show you how you just mildly customize these options. This is where you can change the font and the color of the title and the font of the options. Cursor color is this little up and down cursor here. You can change the background color of your background, or you could even set it to an image. So for example, I could click that, and that could be my image, or I could use the RPG in a Box logo. And you could have that as your background. Obviously, you'd have to scale it. You'd have to use the stretch mode. So keep, for example, maybe we could do keep centered. So you have something like that. You could set an image as your background, scale, that sort of thing. Or you can use background map. So we could say menu, for example, and then that will show the map from the overhead view, but then you can do camera position and you can set menu BG, and then there's our background. And then this option here, NPC movement in map, if you turn that on, then if you had NPCs in this map and you had navigation grids, which I deleted because I knew there wasn't going to be any NPCs in this map, but if you then had both navigation lines and NPCs, they would now be walking around in game in the background while this menu is on the screen. If you don't want your NPCs to move around, but you want them on the map, then just turn that off and they'll just stand in position where you place them. I believe they still will use their idle animations, although I'm not 100% sure if that's the case, but a simple test would, find that out. But I'm sure they probably do use their idle animations. It's just they don't move. And then obviously you've got music, so you could put a music track in the background, and then when this menu's on screen, you've got the music. If you want to change the text, the title of your menu, that's found in the game configuration section. So if we double click this, game title, if I change this to my new project and click OK, that changes the title text in the default main menu. So that's the default menu, and there's only so much you can change. As you can see, you're just changing the color, you can change the font, you can change the background, but you can't change the layout of the menu, and you can't change whether it looks different with graphics and images and things like that. So you're probably going to want to fully customize this. So the way to do that is to not use this system at all. Okay, so we'll save this, but then what you want to do is go into game configuration, go to user interface, and find the main menu option. I've already done this, but this will be on. You want to turn that off. So now when you go into game, it's not going to load the main menu. I'll show you. In fact, let's run the game and see what effect that has on the game. So you can see it just loads straight into the game. My first map. This is not the main menu map, but this is a duplicate of that map that's playable. I'll show you that in a second. But basically, it just ignored. It didn't even go to the main menu. It just went straight into the game. So by default, that's what will happen when you turn the main menu off. So what we want to do is we now want to start scripting our own main menu to appear instead of the game. So let's just quickly go back to the game, the editor, and just to quickly show that what I have is I have two maps, one called menu, which is this map here, and then another one called map 1, which is just a variation of that map, which is the one that you play when you start a new game, just for example's sake. So let's start piecing everything together. So the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to make your menus. So to do that, you need to go to the UI editor, and you want to go to the widgets section. And I've already made the widgets just because it takes a bit of time to set everything up, but I'll quickly show you how I've set them up. So the first thing I did is I created a game title widget. So what I did is I went to add new widget, and I called it, in this case, I gave it the ID of title. So I would have typed title into there. Okay, and then I would have created it. And then what I did is in the options of the widget, I turned off the frame. Okay, so that basically makes it transparent. Okay, and then I just dragged a image element into the widget, and then in the properties of the image, I can set either my title, or in this case, I'll use the RPG in a Box logo. That can be the title of our game. So what you want to do is you want to make an image, a transparent PNG, either in any imaging software, whether it be Photoshop, GIMP, or any other type of image making software. You can even use RPG in a Box to create a thumbnail or something, or a portrait image of voxel letters. You could model some, you can make your title out of voxel models, and then you could take a in-game, in-engine image. Just to quickly give an example of that, let me load up a grass tile for a moment just to show you what I mean. Why is it not loading? Come on. Okay. So what you can do is you can then click the capture image to file button. There you go, that one. And then imagine this was not a bridge, it was, a word made out of voxels. You can then drag that around there. The background is already transparent. So then that will create for you, obviously you'll want the word to be head on, or however you want it to look when it's in the image. And then once you've done that, you can set that image as your title by clicking the image element, dropping this down. The captured word would be in the drop-down list, and then you can set it there. Or you can, create it in Photoshop or GIMP or any other kind of image software, and then just make sure that PNG that you've made is inside the images folder of your project. When you next open RPG in a Box, it will then automatically be in this list and therefore usable in your widgets. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. So that's the game title widget. It's very simple. It's just a transparent. I should also say that setting wise on the widget itself, not only have I turned off the frame, but the initial position I've set to top center. So it's going to be in the center of the screen, but at the very top. Okay, that's the game title widget done. Next, I have a main menu widget, or M menu, as I called the ID. Okay, so again, I just created another widget, gave it the ID M menu, and again, I made the frame transparent, so I turned the frame off. I've set the initial position to center left, so it's going to be in the center of the screen, but off to the left. You could have it in the center if you wanted the title to be here, and then the options underneath, you could do that. In fact, maybe I'll do that for the main menu. So center. So that will be in dead center of the screen, whereas the title will be center top, or top center, sorry. So that will be up here, and then these options will be underneath it. And then I've placed 4 buttons by dragging them from the list on the side. So button 4 times into the widget. I gave them the text, new game. This could be continue, credits, and quick game. Okay. Now, at the moment, they don't do anything. We're going to have to do that in a moment. We're going to go through all the scripts that you need to make everything work. But for now, I'm just showing you the setup. So that's that widget. And then what I also did is I created a pause menu. This is what comes up when you press escape. Okay, so when you're in your game, these are the options that come up when you press the escape key. So I want this to definitely appear center left. So that's just out of the way over here on the game, so you can still see the game in the background. This has a few more options in it than the main menu does. This has resume game, because you've just paused a game, so you want to be able to resume it. Save game, that should only be available when you're in a game. You can't save at the main menu. Why would you do that? You're not playing the game. Load game, doesn't make sense to continue because you're already playing, and the wording there is sort of wrong. So it will be load game in this case. Quit to title will allow you to quit to the main menu, and then quit game allows you to quit the whole game. So again, we need to script all of these things, but setting wise, the widget itself, no frame. That's a bit odd. It's not. It should show the frame around it, but center left is the other setting I've used, and then we'll save that. So those are our free widgets. We only need 3 widgets. If you wanted to make a more complicated saving and loading system where you allow the player to type in a save game name and they might have multiple save files, then you can do that as well. So when you click save game, it brings up another widget instead with a load of buttons for which slot do you want to save the game into and things like that. I'm not going to go into that in this video. That would be a sort of dedicated video on a sort of more advanced saving and loading system. For now, I'm just going to focus on how do you make a more fancy version of this menu. So I'm going to keep it exactly the same as it works normally, but just you've made it more customized, you've made it your own, you've made it look fancy. Now, I should also point out that if you want to change the look of the buttons, you can do that as well. So one thing you can do, for example, if we click on the resume game button, for example, you, instead of using text, you could use an image. So, for example, you could have, let's get rid of the text. You could have a series of images be your buttons. You can also get rid of the border around them. To do that, you need to go to Themes, and you need to create a new theme because you can't edit the default one, it's unlocked. So we'll just quickly make a duplicate of it called Custom. And then we need to set Custom as the default by clicking the star icon. So it's the one, now it's using this one. And then if you scroll down to, right to the very bottom, here are the button options. So we've got the button background, button border. So for example, if we set the background to transparent, so set the alpha all the way to the bottom. Let's do it here, 0. And do the border to 0 as well. And then save. If we go back to our widget, now you can see that the buttons themselves don't have any backgrounds, they don't have any borders. So if you wanted, to create your own buttons visually with, as I say, again, PNGs, Photoshop, that sort of thing, then you can create them how you want them to look as images and then set them on a button as an image instead of text. And then in the themes, just make sure your buttons don't have any borders and backgrounds. You'll obviously want to do the hover ones as well. So hover is when your cursor goes over the button. You want to make those transparent as well. Okay. For now, I'm going to set this back to the default and delete the custom theme because I'm not going to use images. I'm going to use the actual buttons. So selecting this again, no image, and it's resume. Okay. Save. Okay. So hopefully that's sort of helped explain how to set the widgets up and the sort of things that you can do with the widgets in regards to making a custom menu and pause screen. Okay, so now we need to put all the pieces into place. So the issue we've got is that because we've turned off this option here, it just goes straight into the game because it says, oh, you don't want a menu. Okay, so you're just gonna, it basically just goes straight to the startup. So our startup script, let me just refresh this because I deleted all those scripts. Our startup script is literally just load map 1, this coordinate facing this direction. Okay, so that's what that does. So we want to change our startup script. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to create a new script, which I'll call main menu. And this script is going to do a couple of things. First of all, it's going to load into the main menu map, this one here. So let's go back to the map editor. It's going to load into this map here. Okay. Now, when we load into this map, our player will be in the map, unlike the default main menu in the UI editor. This one here, that doesn't put the player in the map. But because we are actually loading a map, essentially we are this is basically an illusion of a main menu. What we're basically doing is we're loading into the game, but the first map is going to act like a main menu. So because it's basically acting like the game, it's going to put the player in the map. And therefore, we're going to see our character in the map. Now, you may want that, in which case you don't have to do what I'm about to do. But I don't want to see the player in the map, okay? In the main menu map. So in this map, what I've done is I've placed a tile underneath the map, this tile here. This is going to be my starting tile. So I'm going to click it, right click, copy the coordinate. So with that coordinate copied, I'm going to go to my main menu script and let's do it with the visual editor for the moment. We're going to load the map. So let's find the load map command. We want to load the menu. We want to paste those coordinates in. So that's going to put the player underneath the map. The next thing we want to do is lock camera because we need to lock the camera before we can set it to a custom position. So now we want to move the camera. So lock basically means that it no longer is tied to the player. So now we can move the camera to a camera position, and I called it menu BG. So this is the custom position that we made in the map in the menu map that I showed at the very beginning of this video. So we're going to move the camera to that position. And we're not going to look at a target. We're going to leave it as none, so the camera position angle is used instead, which is what we want, because I've set that camera up exactly as I want it to look, both position and angle. Once we've done that, we then want to show our widgets. So we want to show widgets because we've got 2 of them that we want to show. So we're going to duplicate that and put another one there. So this is going to be title, and this is going to be M menu. Okay. Now I'm going to go into the code here because I want to add something, and it's going to be slightly, it's quicker to type it. Okay. And I'll explain what this is all about as we go through. If you want to know a little bit more about what this is about, refer to my video on the custom save loading system. I've done a video on that. It's in my playlist if you want to understand a bit more about exactly what I'm about to do here, but I will explain it as I go through as well. So I'm going to create a local variable called $check_saves, and it's going to equal load_data, open and close parentheses, and I'm just going to type inside the parentheses speech marks saves. Okay. That's going to basically bring in external data, looking for a file called saves, and it's going to, if it finds it, it's going to store it into this local variable. What I'm then going to do is check if $check_saves is null. In other words, if it didn't find this file, then what I actually want to do is widget. I'll type it out and I'll explain what it's doing. So this is M menu dot element, and I believe it's 0002. I'll check in a second. Dot visible equals false, and an end. So what this is basically doing is this is going to check if we have any save games. If we don't have any save games, which is what this is saying, if it's null, then we want to hide the load or continue game option from the main menu. So in other words, what's going to happen is when we play our game and we load into the first map, which brings up the main menu, let's go to the UI editor, go to our widgets, go to M menu. Let's just check this is 02. Yeah, 02. So this button here will be hidden if there's no save games. There's no point continuing if there's nothing to continue. So by default, there'll be a gap between new game and credits because there's no save game. If there is a save game, then this button will appear the next time we're at the main menu, and we'll be able to click it and it will load again. Okay. We need to do the same thing later with our pause menu, but we'll get to that. We're not quite ready for that yet. We're still doing the main menu. So let's go back to our script. So that's what this is doing. So just to quickly go over the script, if you want to know what it looks like, this is the code that I did at the end. So basically just if check saves null, then widget menu element equals visible equals false. And at the very beginning, check saves equals load data saves. So that's what it looks like as visual. But this is what it looks like in text. So just to go over it, I'm bringing in a saves file if it exists. I'm loading the main menu map, putting you underneath the map. I'm locking the camera so it's no longer tied to the player. I'm then moving the camera to that custom position. I'm then showing the title image and I'm showing the menu buttons. So that will be the center ones. And then if there's no save games, then I'm hiding the continue game button from that menu. If there is save games, then it will just show the widget normally and every button will be there. You could, let's do an else just to be thorough. So if it's not null, let's just make sure we bring it back just in case. Because obviously if it hides it, but then later on we want to see it, because we do have saves, we'll make sure that it doesn't hurt to be thorough and just make sure that there's no way it could not appear. So we'll put an else in there as well. So that's what that script's doing. So that's going to basically set up our start of our game. And what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to go to game configuration, go to our general section, and change our startup script from startup to main menu. So it's going to do that at the very beginning of the game. So this should already work to show us the menu screen with both a title and the menu options. None of the menu options will do anything, but we should at least be able to see our menu when we start our game. So let's have a look. So here we are. So obviously our image is a bit big, so we could probably scale down the title widget a bit, because obviously the buttons are overlaying it. But you can see that, first of all, it works. There's our camera position. We can't see the player. Normally the player would be standing there, because I know that was normally where I had them by default, but then I've moved them underneath the map. You could obviously put them around the corner or something. You don't have to put them under the map. It just depends what your view is. For example, if the background of your map was the top-down view of your entire map, like a sort of overhead view, then obviously you will see the player in that point, so you might want to put them under the map. But you can see there's our custom camera position, there's our title widget, there's our menu widget, and the load or continue button is not there because there isn't currently a save game, okay? But none of these buttons do anything. Obviously, we've got errors because I have previously assigned scripts to these. When I was testing this out, I forgot to unassign them. So they are trying to do something, but at this stage, if you're making your own, clicking them would not do anything, okay? So we don't have a way to quit the game at the moment, so I'm just going to press Alt F4 to come back to the editor. So that's got our widget to appear. I'm just going to make a slight amendment to the title one, just because it was a bit overlapping. So I'm just going to make this height-wise, I don't know, let's make it 8. I need to change the image first. So let's bring the image to there, and then we'll make this 8. Why is it not letting me? Oh, is that as small as it can go? What is that? Let me delete that for a second. There you go. And I'll put it in again. So image elements, and then set it to RPG in a box. There we go. And then save. So that should hopefully at least stop the overlapping between the two widgets. So now we can move on to the buttons, okay? So let's also sort out bringing up the other menu. So what we're going to do is we're going to create another script, which I'll call pause menu. And I'm going to do this in code just because it's quicker to type than drag the nodes and connect them up. So what we want to do here is we want to show widget title. So we'll bring up the title again. We want to show widget, but this time we want to bring up the pause menu, which I called pause menu lowercase. So back to the script, pause menu. So that's going to show the two menus, and then we want to pause game so that the game in the background doesn't do anything. Okay, apply and save. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go to game configuration, input bindings, and I'm going to place that on escape. So I'm going to find escape, and I'm going to run script pause menu. So now when you press escape, it's going to bring up the title, the pause menu, which will be the one on the left rather than the center, and pause the game. We also need to check here as well if, let's do this up here, $check saves equals load data saves. We'll get to actually setting that data in a minute. That will come in when we actually save games. If $check saves is null, then we then want to hide pause menu dot element, and I need the element number, so just give me a second to find that. It's 2. It's still 2, okay, because I'll just move things around. So back to the script. element 0002 dot visible equals false, else, and then we'll just copy this and we'll make this true. And apply and save. So that again will hide the load button this time if there aren't any saves. So with that said, obviously it should go without saying that if you want your game to not have saving and loading in the main menu, then you just wouldn't make buttons for them, okay? So normally you would do that in the game configuration settings. You'd go to user interface. Oh no, not user interface. You go to gameplay. Where is it? Other. And you turn saving off, and then you turn loading on or off, depending on what you want to do. But for a custom main menu, if you want those off, then you just don't put buttons on your menu to do it, to save and load, right? So in this case, we are going to do that. So we'll leave both of those on. Doesn't matter. We could turn them off, to be honest. It really doesn't matter. Those options are not going to affect your custom main menu because this is for the inbuilt menu. Which is why I say to turn them off, you actually have to just not create them, okay? So there's our escape menu set up. So it's going to check for saves. It's going to show both the widgets, but the pause menu this time. And then it's going to hide the load option if there aren't any saves. And then it's going to pause the game. So let's just, we can't test that yet because we haven't gone into a game. So let's set up the new game button. So we got the, go back to our UI, go to our main menu. So we got the new game button. So let's set that one up first. So let's set that to none. And then let's create the script for it. So we're going to create a new script called new game. And this is going to hide widget title. It's going to hide widget M menu. It's going to, I can't remember if it's lock camera false or if it's, I think it's unlock camera. I will check that though. So, oh no, it's reset camera, that's it, because there is no unlock camera. So we're going to reset the camera. However, before we reset the camera, I'm going to fade out for 1 second, let's say. Then reset the camera, and then load map. Oh no, what I'm actually going to do is I'm then going to execute script. And then I'm going to execute my startup script. So then you could put in your startup script any properties, any items that you should have on startup. You can leave your startup script exactly set up as you want. Just create a main menu script instead that sort of starts with that first. And then in your new game button, you can execute your startup script. Okay, does that make sense? So I'm doing it this way so I don't have to sort of, if I've decided later on, oh, actually I want a custom menu, but I've already set up my startup script, you can leave your startup script as it is and just execute it when you click new button. Yeah, new game, sorry. So apply and save. So what we're doing is we're hiding both the widgets, we're fading out, we're then resetting the camera, so there's no longer locked to the player. Locked to the camera position. It will snap back to the player, and then we're going to execute script startup. And what that's going to do is that's going to load the map that we play in. So we can test that now. So let's quick play. So here we are in the game. There's our title widget, much better. It's not overlapping the menu anymore. If we click new game, I forgot to assign it, of course. Let's go back into the editor. We need to go to UI editor. We need to click the new game button, and you need to go to button action, run script, and the script needs to be new game. You need to make sure you assign the script to the button. Let's try that again. So click new game, and there we go. So it faded out, it hid the widgets, and then it loaded us into the map that we can play in. Now, if we press the escape key, it pauses the game. It brings up the title widget again, but now it shows the pause menu on the left. Now, this doesn't do anything at the moment, so at this point we're stuck, so I'll have to press Alt F4 in a minute. The only downside to, at the moment, hopefully this will be changed, but at the moment of filming this, although you can pause the game by pressing a key on the keyboard, you can't unpause it by pressing the same key. So I can't press escape to then resume the game again. Even if you were to script it to do that, it doesn't currently work, which is why we've got this button here, which will unpause the game in a second. So if you press a key, no matter what the key is, doesn't matter if it's L or P or escape, if you press a key that brings up your menu, you can't press that key again to unpause the game. So you will have to have a button on your pause menu that will unpause your game. Okay? Let's Alt F4 back to the game. Let's unpause our game. Let's deal with that next. So we'll go to our script and we'll create a resume game script. Quite simply, this is going to, didn't mean to press that. This is going to hide widget title, hide widget pause menu. But before it does any of that, we should resume game. Apply and save, and make sure that script then gets assigned to our pause menu, resume game button. And save. Let's just test that. Press escape, resume game. Oh, great. So we've now got a way to pause and resume our game from our custom menu. Okay. Alt F4 because we don't have a way to quit yet. Let's resolve that so that we can quit our game. So what we're going to do is I'm going to use the same script. So I'm just going to go to script editor and create a new script called quit game. You can call these whatever you want, of course. Edit. This is going to be hide widget title. Oh, we can't use the same. Well, I suppose we can actually. We are going to use the same script. I'm going to hide widget M menu, but I'm also going to hide widget pause menu. It shouldn't error if we don't have that widget open. It will just not hide it because it's already hidden. But that means it will now cater for both menus. We can use the same script for both menus, and it will just close the relevant one. So then I want to fade out for, I don't know, 2, and then we're going to quit, just so it's a bit fancier, and then we're going to quit game. Apply and save, and then that's going to go onto this button. So run script, quit game, save that, go to our main menu, click quit game, set that to our quit game button. So let's just quickly test that quickly. So if we go to our main menu, we should be able to quit the game by clicking this button. Fades out and it quits the game. Let's go back in again, test our pause menu button. Click new game. Press escape, quit game. Yes, sorry. This got to remember that because we're pausing the game, we are going to, the easiest thing to do actually is to make it 2 scripts. You could do an ifs, you could do a global property that checks if it's paused, and then if it is, unpause the game first. I'm just going to make it 2 scripts. It's just quicker and easier. So we'll call this quit game. So we won't hide the pause menu. We'll leave this as the main menu one. So let's just get rid of that. On. So that's just going to do that. And then we'll make a duplicate of this, which we'll call quit game pause, something like that. And for this, we want to first of all resume the game. Oops. We then want to hide the pause menu and then fade out and quit the game. So because we've made a separate script, we need to go to our pause menu, click this and set that to quick game pause. As I say, there are ways that you could streamline this process so there's less script files you need to make, but just for now, just so you understand how to very quickly and simply make a menu, we'll do it as separate scripts. So if we press escape now, we should be able to quit. So it unpauses, fades out, and then quits. So we've now got the ability to quit. Let's quickly implement the quit to title button, because that's a really simple one to do. So we need script editor again. We'll create a quit to title script. And this is going to hide. Well, first of all, it's going to resume the game because we're paused. Basically every single button in the pause menu needs to resume the game before it does its thing, okay? Especially save, otherwise it will save your game paused and you'll be stuck. We'll get to that. Resume game, hide widget title, hide widget pause menu, and then we want to let's do a fade out as well, and then we can quit to title. I think that's the name of the function. I will look it up just to be safe. Yeah, quit to title. So that should then put us back at the main menu when we quit our game. So new game, press escape, quit to title. I think I forgot to assign it again. Same old problem. Click it, assign the quit to title script on the button. Try again. New games, escape, quit to title, fades out. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, so quit to title actually puts the title back. So what you'd have to do with your quit to title script, let's do this. Quite simply, we will rerun main menu. Okay. I thought you could use the quit to title function, but obviously that's not going to work. So let's quick play. This will now work the way we want it to. So we'll just re-execute the very, very first script of our game. So of course, that's not going to work because we're paused. What we actually need to do is edit our quit to title script and resume the game, hide the titles, fade out, and then we don't want to quit to title, we want to execute script. Main menu. Okay, so we want to execute our original script rather than quit to title when we quit the title. Oh, I forgot to set that script back on the button. New game, escape, quit to title, fades out. Boom, there we go. So now that's a proper back to menu. So rather than using quit to title, we had to re-execute our actual startup script that takes us to this map, sets up these widgets, and shows them all again. Okay. So now we've got the credits to do. I'm going to do save and load last just because they are the most complicated, but let's just get all the little ones out of the way. So we only need to do credits once because I only have it on the main menu. I don't have it on the pause menu. So let's quickly create a credits script. Show credits. Now there's a slight bug at the moment with show credits, and I'll show this in a minute. We want to hide widget title And then we want to hide widget main menu. And then we're going to show credits. And then apply and save. And let's not forget to set that on the button. Now I'll show you the bug that happens that you need to be mindful of at the moment. So if we click credits, the credits work. That's not the bug. So we'll wait for the credits to end. Then because we've turned main menu off, what will happen is when the credits finish, they'll ask you if you want to quit the game or restart. So this comes up, okay? If we click restart, we'll be returned to our main menu. But now there's no main menu. The bug at the moment is that after the credits have played, all widgets stop working. So this will need to be fixed. But once that's been fixed, then once you've shown the credits, it will take you back. It will basically run your main menu script again. And basically your startup script again, which in this case is main menu. And it will bring all the widgets back again. But because the widgets aren't currently working after credits, you're better off just clicking quit after the credits. I'll press Alt F4 for now, because I have to. But you may as well click quit at the end of the credits so it quits the game. Okay. So now let's implement, finally, our saving and loading system. So for that, we need the pause menu. We're going to create a new script for our save button. We're going to click edit. Sorry, not credits. Cancel that. Create a new script. We're going to call this saving. And let's think about what we want to do. So the first thing we want to do is we want to resume the game. That's the most important thing we do because we've paused the game to bring up the main menu. So we want to resume the game. We also want to hide the widgets first because we don't want those to be open again when we restore our game. Because whenever you save a game, it will save the game in literally the state it's in when it's saved. So if the widgets are still open when you save, they'll be open when you load. So we want to make sure that we hide the whole menu first, resume the game first as well. Now we can run save game. So that will save the game. But what we also need to do is we now need to save data. And I'm just going to put the word true in there. It doesn't matter what you put in. And I'm going to call this, most importantly, saves. So that will now create that file that you're checking for that makes the widget button appear or not. So this will now tell the widget, the main menu, that there's a save game now. So you should show that button, the load continue game button. Okay, apply and save. And we just assign that to our UI, to our save game button, run script saving. Save. And then our load game button just needs a script. It's a very simple script. Run a new script called loading. And we're going to edit. And this is just going to load. Okay. That's all it needs to do because we don't need to check for anything because it will only appear if there is a save game to load. So the fact it's visible means it's done the checks already. So now we go to our load game on our pause menu, make sure that's the script assigned. So loading, save, go to our main menu, continue, run script, loading, and save it. Let's try this. So here we are at our main menu. There's currently no continue button. We'll click new game. We'll go and stand on the bridge. We'll press escape. Again, there's no load game button. Hopefully this time, save game will work. No errors, that's good. And game saved appeared at the top. If we press escape again, we now have our load game button. We click it. Loads the game. We can continue walking across the bridge. Let's quit to title. The title should now have the continue button. because we have a save. It's again checking for that file, and because that file now exists, if we click continue, it loads again. So we now have a fully implemented custom main menu. Okay, so from beginning to end, sorry it's been a bit of a long one, but I thought you'd appreciate just going through everything, how to set up the main menu, how to make it look the way you want, how to then program all the different buttons. So you should now have the means at your disposal to make a fully customized main menu with all of the options that you have in a normal menu. The only thing we don't seem to have access to, and maybe that will be added at a later date, is the ability to make your own options menu that brings up things like changing full screen and graphic settings and things like that. That's the only thing you do lose by having a custom menu. But for now, at least, you can do these particular things. So hopefully that's been useful. Hopefully it's helped demonstrate how to set up your own menus, and you can run from here and create your own and experiment, try out different things. That will wrap up this video. I will put this project on the wiki. The link will be in the description of the video as well. So if you want to download this project and, reverse engineer the menus for yourself, see how things are done, play around, you feel free to do that. But for now, that'll wrap up this video. Thanks for watching.